Welcome to the Xceleration Fitness Podcast, video podcast, number 20.
Number 20.
And for you today, we have a brand new format we're bringing to you guys. This episode is going to be 30 minutes long, so know that from the get-go.
Short and sweet.
And also, what we're going to do on this show, guys, on the Xceleration Fitness Podcast show, what we're going to do for you guys is deconstruct the transformations of professional athletes, weight loss clients, and just successful people. So, what does that mean for you? Well, you can learn how these people started, where they're at now, what they did to get to the point that they're at now. So, for instance, today, we're going to talk about weight loss journeys. We're going to talk about fat loss journeys, talk about what these people did and what you can use in your journey.
Exactly. And that's, we want to narrow things down because that's what we do best here at Xceleration Fitness is, taking, whoever it is and transforming them, whether it's, losing a lot of weight or gaining muscle, like whatever it happens to be. That's what we become known for is these, big transformations. And we want to really focus in on that. So,
all right. So what that means for you guys, again, take these aha moments that you get out of this. Oh my gosh, you did this. I could try this. My biggest advice for you in listening to this podcast is if you learn something, studies show that if you have an aha moment and you don't use that aha moment within 24 hours, you'll never use it. So if you do hear something that you really like, make sure you use it within 24 hours.
Is that what the studies refer to as aha moments?
Yeah, they say aha.
Aha.
Yeah.
Aha.
In the Ben Boudro book of science.
Also, we are a shout out of the week.
Ooh, yeah, it's my favorite part. Every week we're going to shout out a client who does something extraordinary. And today we have Meg Strasbaugh.
Yeah.
Listen to what she did.
Yeah. So why don't you give the background, Ben, because you kind of started the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So
imagine somebody challenges you and they say, hey, Ben, I want you to start a trade series. You got to trade 10 things, starting with something as simple as a pen or a bracelet. And on the 10th trade, whatever you get, you have to sell that for profit, and then the profit goes to a charity. Well, at Xceleration Fitness, charity means a lot to a lot of people in the community. So I went on Facebook, started with a bracelet. This bracelet led to Paul Sokol donating 2 tickets to Def Leppard and Journey, which are $400 tickets. It's just unreal.
Not just regular tickets, like right up on the stage, I believe, right?
Unreal. Yeah. So we did a raffle, raised a lot of money for those, raised over $700 for those tickets. Then you do that. Then you get an email from somebody and they say, hey, I saw your post on the 10 trades, and it's really ironic because the family who we're helping, she dealt with a similar scenario, and she also said that she accidentally left her bracelet at the gym, and it just so happened to be the bracelet that I was selling. So I was blown away. Listen to what she does next. She goes, I have a brand new treadmill in my basement, and I want to donate it to whoever wants it, and you can use the money for the profit for the family. This thing was a freaking really nice treadmill. She just donated out of the goodness of her heart. Never asked for a dime. So it's stuff like that that really –
that's the crazy part is it started out with her losing her bracelet in the gym too.
Mm-hmm.
And how was that?
Her having the kind heart to just donate a treadmill. I mean, a lot of people would not do that.
Expensive treadmill too.
Yes.
So, and on top of the tickets. So that was pretty cool. And so shout out to you.
Yes. That is the Xceleration Fitness community right there. All right. So let's get to the good stuff, guys. We're going to do 7 questions, and this has to be a half hour. So these 7 questions we'll go through fairly quick, but today we're going to break down transformations of Xceleration Fitness clients and how they lost weight so you guys can learn from it today.
Yeah. And on that note, the questions that we're asking before, we basically sat down and kind of deconstructed them and then reconstructed the same questions, but applied them specifically to, transformations. So they're very similar to what we have been asking, but a little bit more towards exactly, what our, wheelhouse is. Right?
Yeah. So you get the better version of it, baby.
Yeah. So our first question is, what is the biggest transformation you've seen this past year as a coach? So what is, your thing?
I'm going to go with the guy named Jim. I won't say his last name because he's that humble. He doesn't want me to be noticed. But when he came to us, he said, I want to be able to put the tray down on an airplane because his stomach was so big. He's down over 95 pounds right now.
Yeah, almost 200.
To the point where he's going to hate me for telling this story. He went to the grocery store the other day and had to go to Costco to get protein. That's all he has in his cart. And the person next to him goes, are you a personal trainer? So you go from feeling tired, lethargic, out of shape to within 2 years, somebody asking if you're a personal trainer. That is a transformation right there.
That is awesome. And on that note too, a pretty cool thing is he's actually going to be doing a powerlifting competition this summer. And to kind of, to go from, just kind of not feeling very good about yourself physically and mentally to, signing up for a competition that involves, strength in your body is pretty freaking awesome.
That is a transformation.
So that is a transformation. Mine would probably be guy by the name of Ken. Now, if you know Ken, if you're from the gym, Ken has lost, 120, 130 pounds, something like that, probably more by now. And he has completely transformed himself physically. And it's been just awesome to watch.
So we just said 2 males. So if you're a female out there listening to this, you're probably like, how the hell does this, impact you? Well, here's what you need to know. Both of these transformations, they didn't follow some crazy diet. They didn't do some crash. Mm-hmm. They never, we did consultations with them to get their nutrition down. But from that point on, it was very hands-off. Yeah, they showed up to workouts. They ate healthy proteins, ate healthy carbs, and they never stopped doing that. And they never deprived themselves.
Consistency.
So if you don't deprive yourself, you can do something for 2 years, you're going to see results. I think that's what a lot of people – it's what you need to know. If you do something for 2 years consistently, you will see results.
Yeah. And that's on that note too. I just had a conversation with someone the other day and, they were like, is 3 weeks enough to see like major results? And it's like, it depends. Like if you've never exercised in your life, yeah, you can see some pretty darn crazy results in 3 weeks. But if you're like a normal, active, like I would say average person, like you're not going to see like life-changing results in 3 weeks. Like it is a long process. You can make progress, but it's not going to be anything crazy. And you have to realize that it's a long process to go from, wherever you're at to wherever you want to be, like physically and mentally and just everything about it. Right. It takes a long time. So of consistent effort.
I think if you guys listen out there, if you start something that you can do consistently, that's not going to deprive you and it's not going to make you feel so socially awkward and just deprived, you will be good. I guarantee it. You will be good. Move your body, eat healthy food. You'll be good.
Simple. All right. Second question now. So what failure in a transformation have you seen that has kind of, it sucked at the time for the person, but then it turned out to be kind of a blessing? And it doesn't have to be a specific person, or just we can talk in general,
Okay. For the listeners out there, here's the failure that you can hear often in fitness. And if I say this one word, I guarantee you guys are going to know what I'm talking about. Plateau.
Yep.
You go through a plateau. You lost 20 pounds. You've had 6 weeks of nothing happening. You're so freaking frustrated. You're putting in all this work. You're going to the workouts. You're eating all these healthy foods, and you're still not seeing the scale move. Mm-hmm. Maddie Couch, who is a trainer at Xceleration Fitness, did a very good Instagram story the other day, and hopefully it caught your guys' attention. Fuck the scale.
Seriously.
Throw your fucking scale away. You're probably hearing this and like, oh my God, I've heard this before, but the scale matters. You have to be at this certain weight. You have to feel, if you're not at this 130-pound weight, you're not having success. Here's what you don't know. If you take the inches from your neck, from your chest, from your shoulders, from your thighs, from your calves, your stomach, if you measure those inches consistently, you will see unreal results moving through your body. Your clothes will fit better. The scale might not move, but what you got to know is that muscle weighs more than fat.
And if you take, it's a net change, because if you're just starting out, you're going to drop body fat and you're going to gain muscle. It's just going to happen. So there's going to be a net change where, yeah, you might have lost, say 5 pounds of fat, but you also gained 3 pounds of muscle in however long you've been working at this. So yeah, the scale only shows 2 pounds, but you made a huge difference to your actual body composition, the way your body looks, how you feel, how clothes fit. So you have to remember that. And, there are ways to do that even better than that, just by getting, your body fat tested or going and get a DEXA scan where you can see exactly how much muscle you're gaining and exactly how much body fat you're losing, because that is the true tale, right? A number on a scale doesn't mean shit, right? And the other part of that too is it can fluctuate so much. How many times have we had people come in and just, upset and crying because they had, more salt than they usually do, or they had, they went out for the weekend and they gained 5 pounds and they think that they gained 5 pounds of fat. Like, it doesn't happen that quickly. Weight fluctuates very, in pretty drastically. And I mean, you can swing, 3-4 pounds in the course of 12 hours easily, even more so in the summer when it's hot out and you're sweating, or if you have more salt than usual, like all those things can affect it and make it seem like you're going the wrong way. But in all reality, it doesn't mean anything.
So in the end, you really got to ask yourself, why does that scale dictate your day?
It doesn't.
Why? It shouldn't. We can tell you this till we're blue in the face. You still won't believe us. But if you simply ask yourself the question, why is the scale? Why does it matter? Why? You're going to find that it doesn't. So moving on.
All right, moving on. So in one sentence, what is the biggest – I'm going to have Ben read that because this is writing and I can't get it.
In one sentence, what is the biggest advice you have for a transformation? Okay, this is going to be $1 million question for you guys. Hopefully you take some tidbits out of it. If I could do it in one sentence to give you guys a transformation, the word I would use is courage.
Courage. Why is that?
It takes a lot of courage to fall into a different habit. It takes yourself a lot of courage to accept new ideas, to tell your friends you don't want to do this because this is what you did and why it got you there. It takes courage to show up to a workout. It takes courage to show up consistently. It takes courage to step on a scale. It takes courage to spend money and get these tests done so you can know where you're at. It takes a lot of courage to do all this. But if you have that courage and you have faith, you will be successful. Look, you've probably heard 1,000 transformation stories by now. You see it all over the news. You see people losing weight left and right. If you see it happening, you know it's possible. If you don't have courage, though, it's hard to make it through a long transformation.
That's spot on. And I think mine on top of that, I think that 100% nails it. But also I think mine would be follow what you can follow. And what I mean by that, it sounds kind of silly, but follow, the exercise plan, the diet style or plan, or, whatever you want to call it, that you can follow. If you know that like carbs they just get you going, and then sweets, you can't stop eating them once you eat them, maybe you shouldn't do a higher carb, weight loss diet. If you know you hate super fatty foods, keto is probably not for you. If you know you have a crazy work schedule that isn't going to allow intermittent fasting, don't do it, right? Pick what works best for you. And it goes the same for a workout plan, right? I mean, you have to find something that's going to be sustainable in the long term and not just jump on some crazy, workout or diet plan that is going to mess you up, even though you might progress in the first month.
Exactly. It's a very good point. And you know what ties both in? Because in order to find the one that's right for you,
you have the courage to try multiple. Right?
You got to have the courage to go hire a coach. Yeah. A lot of guys out there my age, I'm calling you out right now. You're 30 years old. You went through college. You got your job. You got your career. You might have kids right now. You might have been a good high school athlete, and now you're 50, 60 pounds overweight. Fucking hire a coach. Don't fucking say that you know what to do. You know how to work out. You know how to eat healthy, because guess what? There's professional trainers out there who hire coaches to tell them what to eat. There's professional fitness guys who hire coaches to tell them how to exercise. It's not about you.
Yeah.
It's not about what you know. It is about you, but it's not about what you knew. The one 100%. Sentence that can keep you from happiness and keep you from success is "it used to be." Because it's not the way it was before, man. Sorry about that rant. I just get heated up. Sorry.
No, that's good. That's good stuff. All right. So the next one is, what's the most worthwhile investment that, looking back, has helped fill in the blank transformation the most? And that could be time, financial, like hiring a coach, or, making the time in your day, anything like that. You can go first here.
So if you had to choose a financial investment towards a transformation,
not necessarily just financial either. It could be simply, we have a lot of people that are, obviously they're super busy. They have kids, they own multiple businesses, they have all this stuff going on. And, the biggest struggle for them at first is carving the time out of the day to work out or to meal prep. But then once they do, man, that's life-changing. So it doesn't have to be money.
This one could be quick.
Yeah.
It's very easy. It's your time. Yeah. How much time will you invest in your fitness? Easy way to do this, guys. If you spend one day with your calendar, look at your Monday schedule. From the time you wake up to the time you go to bed, do you have an hour in there that you can squeeze in a workout?
Yeah.
If you don't have an hour in there, guys, I don't know what you're doing, but you're doing something wrong.
Yeah. And I think
even a half hour.
It doesn't have to be,
10 minutes.
It's better than nothing, so there's always time. There's always time when you're just playing around on your phone or, watching TV or doing something. Like everyone has time. I haven't met a single person, no matter how successful they are in any other parts of life, whether it's their family or their business, that they can't make the time for it.
John, let's go off this because you guys are probably hearing this from two young guys and you're like, you guys have no idea what time is. You don't have 3 kids. You don't have this. Well, let me tell you how many busy CEOs, I'm talking CEOs of probably the car you're driving right now, trains at our gym.
Yeah, 100%.
We're traveling half of the year.
For those of you guys who don't know the area, we are located, right next door to
the headquarters of Chrysler.
The headquarters of Chrysler and many, automotive related companies,
and if you have any experience in the automotive world, it's freaking cutthroat hours.
Yeah. So these ladies and gentlemen make the time, whether it's at 5 a.m. in the morning, like a lot of them do, or, later at night, or a half-hour class, when they get out of work. Like, they make it happen.
Yeah. You're probably mad at us for saying that, but it's just the
true.
Truth.
That's true. All right. So what behavior was the toughest to resist during this transformation, but ultimately led to success in some way?
What comes to mind when people have a lot of body transformations at Xceleration Fitness, and the biggest resistance that they might have comes along week 5, week 6, where they plateau. And the resistance comes of, I'm only in this for 8 weeks because after 8 weeks, I'll learn what I learned and just take it with me. And that is the biggest mistake you can make in fitness.
100%.
You guys are probably saying this, you're just doing this to make money. No, it's the biggest mistake because when you try to go on your own, in order to have a successful transformation, you got to have fun. You got to have consistency, and you got to have these habits that are thrown in your face, and you got to have accountability. Mm-hmm. All those things get thrown out the window when you try to go to a gym by yourself, jump on a treadmill for 10 minutes to do cardio, then go to the dumbbell rack and do 10 minutes of weights, and then leave.
Yeah, and kind of to add to that, so working with a guy who he owns multiple businesses. He has like 4 kids, they're all young, and he had basically never he hadn't worked out in like 5+ years, right? Mm-hmm. So this guy, it's taken him a year to get to the point where, he'll go work out on his own, and on the days that he's not here training at Xceleration, or if he can't make it in, or he'll just do one at home real quick. And it's taken, really a year to build those habits where you can do that. So it's not some, 4, 5, 6, 8 week thing that's like, boom, you flip the switch and then you've got these habits built forever, right? It's a very long process. And, I think a lot of people can attest, it may even take longer than that. It may take 2-3 years before you can do some of these like things, and consistently. So,
we've been in this podcast, you might be listening like, man, it's going to be really hard. Man, it's going to take a lot of time. Let me positive light it for you real quick. Fitness is the one area in your life where if you do 50% of the work, you're still going to get good results. If you go to your job and do 50% of the work, you're going to get fired. Yeah. If you go to school and do 50% of the work, you get an E on your grade.
It's true.
Fitness is different. Fitness is your own art, and it's your art for the rest of your life. And as long as – so I say this because the guy he just mentioned, he tried this diet. He tried this diet. He tried working out this way. Mm-hmm. And some of them worked, some of them didn't work. But the thing of it is, when it didn't work, you just transition to the next thing. And there's no fail. There's no consequence for it. You know what I mean? So it's your art, and as long as you keep pushing forward, guys, you're going to have a lot of success.
Exactly. And it's that courage that you just talked about, earlier of, being courageous enough to try these different things and maybe fail at these type of things, but then try something else, see what works.
All right, we're down to 5 minutes on this, guys.
5-minute warning.
Stick with us.
All right, so what is a bad recommendation we hear a lot when it comes to changing your body?
You want to take this one first?
There's a lot.
Okay.
I feel like
There's
there's
a lot. There's a
lot
lot.
here.
When it comes to transformations, though, I think one of the worst things you could do, simple, count calories.
Yeah.
That's my worst recommendation. Because
when you're first starting off.
Yeah, when you're first starting off. You can count calories maybe later on, like when you're very strict or feel like training for a show and like bodybuilding, that kind of stuff. But that's like going from first grade to 8th grade with nothing, right? So
No, I agree with that because, yes, calories do matter in the overall scheme of things. But if you're going from, an unhealthy lifestyle of little to no exercise, very poor food choices, maybe terrible sleep, all these things, stress, like just by changing one of those things, you're going to get very big results, right? Mm-hmm. And once you get one of those dialed in, then you change another, then you change another. Then, like you said, maybe you're down the road and like you're shredded up and you just want to get a little bit leaner, make a little change. Then maybe think about altering some things like that, right? But when you're first starting out, 100%, don't, focus on that because you can become very overwhelming.
Yeah. You can dig a little bit deeper too and think about this. You might be a mom out there. Let's say you're a mom of 3 kids. You got to pick them up at the bus stop. You got to get them ready for school. You got to do all this. If you spend your day counting your calories, stressing about it, you're going to take it out on your kids. You're going to take it out on your husband. You're going to be constantly thinking about it, and that's not the way fitness was designed for you to experience.
And, I want to – how do I say this? So there's a certain company out there that they're a national huge company, and their whole model of weight loss is based on points. And you probably know who I'm talking about by saying that, right? Mm-hmm. But that doesn't teach you anything. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That's not how you learn, and I've had so many people, tell me like, yeah, I did that and followed all these things. But once I stopped, I didn't know what the heck I was doing. And I had no idea because it didn't equate, to real life. So, just be careful with with the way
you approach it. All right. Down to the last question, guys.
Yes. When you fell off, and everyone falls off at some point in their, transformation or just health and fitness journey, it happens to everyone. I don't care who you are. What things kind of got you back on track and, back at it again towards success?
Change your training. When people fall off here and they get demotivated, they get plateaued, or they might have something, change your training. If you're doing boot camp classes, maybe try a semi-private strength class. Mm-hmm. If you're doing hour-long classes, try half hours. Try working.
Change the stimulus.
Lunging. Yeah, exactly. Change your stimulus.
I agree with that. I mean, you do it. I do it. Every other trainer here does it. When we, kind of get in a slump, and yes, even trainers get in slumps with fitness and eating and all that stuff, like you change something about it, right? So I kind of had this as well, like, training, specifically powerlifting training for like 2+ years, started to get in a slump, for a course of a few months. And I didn't change things drastically, but I added in a few other training, models, I guess, and kind of combined things a little bit and took a break from that just slightly, still doing it, but not as intensive. And now it's back to normal again. Right? And the same goes for nutrition, right? If you, just are hammering away at a certain style of diet, and then you find yourself, getting extremely bored with it and, just not following it as much, try to change things around just a little bit. And I know, like, I always recommend people too is like cycle your foods out. It can be as simple as that, right? Instead of only eating beef or steak, or fish, on this day, like, just cycle it out. Maybe you have turkey instead. Like, it seems silly. It's a very small change, but that can go a long way. And it goes the same for training or recovery or anything like that.
Exactly. Yeah. So what you need to do is change things up when you fall back. Oh. Hopefully you guys listen to all these 7 questions. Yeah. Hopefully you can jot these down. You can keep them in your memory. But like I said in the beginning, guys, whatever you heard that was an aha moment, make sure you take action on it within 24 hours. So if you're in a plateau right now, and if you're just having a struggle with your weight loss, try something new that we just talked about in this podcast. Reach out to us, guys. Yeah. Also, if you could leave a rating, leave a review for us on the podcast.
Awesome.
That would help us.
Didn't we offer something up, but then you took it back? I can't remember.
Yeah, I was going to give you guys all T-shirts if you left a review. But here's what I'm going to do. Here, yes.
The best review, right?
leave us a review. And if it's really detailed, if you are legit, because we don't want just people leaving reviews just for the hell of it. But if you really listen to us, guys, and you like what we have to say, leave a genuine review. We are going to send you a T-shirt in the mail, Xceleration Fitness. And I'm not talking a regular T-shirt. These are going to be Lululemon T-shirts. Very nice fabric. They'll last a long time. You can rock them out.
Yeah, and that goes for YouTube, Mr. YouTube disliker. And
yeah, who is that guy?
I don't know.
My guy on YouTube. Yeah, you keep calling us out, man. You can leave a review too. We love you, man. Thank you for doing that.
All right, that is it, guys. We will see you next week. Keep on chasing it.
Chase.
We're still chasing it. Where's the stop?